Hey guys, it's Miss Hargan. So now that you've learned how to add fractions with unlike denominators, it's important to know how to simplify your answers after you have finished adding. We have been over how to simplify fractions, but I'm just going to go over it again since it's been a few weeks. This is the problem you just solved, 1/2 plus 1/3. Your answer was 5/6. So I'm going to go through how to simplify that. What you're going to do is you're going to find the GCF. We've talked about it. Greatest common factor. If you're having trouble remembering between GCF and LCD for adding, I like to remember it by G. This is simple. So GCF goes with simplifying. So GCF stands for greatest common factor. That means you're going to list the factors for the numerator and the denominator. So I'm going to make myself a little list. We're going to go ahead and list the factors for 5. You're going to think to yourself, what is everything that you can multiply together that would equal 5? So right off the top of my head, I know 1 times 5 equals 5. 5 is a prime number, so there's nothing else that can equal 5 when you multiply it. Now we're going to think of 6. So 1 times 6, 3 times 2, and that's it. There's nothing else that could equal 6. So now you're looking for the greatest number that they have in common. Well, the only number that they have in common is 1. And we've talked about that 1 does not count when you're looking for the greatest common factor. The reason why is the next step is going to require you to divide. If you divide 5 divided by 1 and 6 divided by 1, you're going to be left with the same fraction, 5/6. There's nothing that's going to change about it. So if there's nothing else in common, that means that 5/6 is already simplified. There's nothing else that you can do. It does not need to be simplified anymore. But it was worth for us to check, just in case. So what I'm going to do is give you a fraction that we can simplify. So let's say your fraction was 12/30. You have added some fractions together and you have gotten 12/30 as your answer. You want to make sure that it's in its simplest form, so you want to go ahead and simplify that fraction. We're again going to find the GCF of the numerator and the denominator, greatest common factor. So I'm going to make a list. All right, so my greatest common factors, or my factors for 12, are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and I believe that's it. So now we're going to find our greatest common factors for 30. You have 1 and 30, 5 and 6, 10 and 3, 2 and 15, I believe that is it as well. So we're going to find the greatest one that they have in common. The first thing I'm going to do is circle all the factors that are the same in both the top and the bottom. So 6 is the same. We have 3 the same. 2 is the same. And that's it. So the greatest number out of 2, 6, 3, which one is the greatest? That would be 6. Greatest common factor is 6. Now, the next step is to divide. So you're going to rewrite your original fraction, and you're going to divide it by your greatest common factor. Do the same thing to the top and the bottom. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So 12/30 and 2/5 are equivalent fractions. 2/5 is just in a simpler form. These numbers are much easier to deal with than 12/30. So what you've done is you put it back into the simplest fraction that it can be. And that would be your answer.